Hello, hockey fans. The Minnesota Hockey Connection is on the air. We're on the air for the next half hour. I'm Kenny Gallagher, along with Jerry Burrow. Jerry, last week we had head hockey coach at Hermantown, Bruce Plant. I know I called him Derek once or twice.
That's all right. It's family.
Yeah. I was afraid that was going to happen, but great conversation. And we put that up on our YouTube channel, also our Facebook page. Great conversation with Bruce Plant up at Hermantown.
Right. And we were talking about he had a tough weekend and with two good AA teams, and he went down to the cities and beat both of them.
Yeah.
So he had a good weekend.
Well, those two teams were
White Bear Lake and St. Michael Albertville.
St. Michael Albertville. Other than being a AA team, are they a good AA team?
Yeah, they could have a possibility of getting the state this year.
Really?
Section 8AA is like Moorhead, Rosal, St. Michael, Albertville, and Bemidji. And none of these teams are in the top 10, so they have a chance. Good as anyone of those four.
Hermantown, 14-1-1. My goodness.
Yeah, and they're playing good hockey right now, and they're doing that northern. They're getting physical. They're checking. They tired out White Bear. It's a pretty even game for two periods. I was at the game down at White Bear, and then all of a sudden they got a couple goals in the third period, and then empty netter. But
they got a tough matchup coming this Thursday at Proctor.
Ooh,
wink, wink.
Yeah, their schedule gets pretty weak the rest of the season, it looks like.
Virginia Mountain Iron Buell on Tuesday the 31st. And the next big game for Hermantown is at Cloquet, Thursday, February 2nd.
Yeah, and then they got Matamita down in the cities there. Mm-hmm. That's probably a 5 or 6 ranked team in Class A.
Here's the games that Hermantown has left. 14-1-1. At Proctor.
Win.
Hosting Virginia.
Win.
At Cloquet.
Cloquet can upset them.
At Matamidi.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? No. What?
I think Hermantown all the way.
Hosting Superior.
Hermantown.
Hosting Brainerd.
Hermantown.
At Bemidji.
Hermantown still.
At Eveleth.
Hermantown.
And at Hibbing.
Hermantown.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Hermantown's playing real good right now.
Well, Jared, like we said when we had the coach on, they opened up the season with a loss and a tie, and they've been winning ever since.
And the team they lost to, they only lost this year, that team is 5-11.
Why is that up?
Yes. They can't score.
Huh.
They're losing all these games like 2-1, 3-1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they are a class.
And I wouldn't want to play them in the playoffs. This team. It'll be like a Rosemont. Remember the 2-tier when they first opened up, and that Rosemont team had like 3 victories, and they got to the championship team.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Other local teams, as we open up with high school hockey talk, the Hilltoppers, Duluth Marshall. They had games at Rochester John Marshall on Saturday.
Oh, yeah, they beat them big time.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
And no, they're
all the Rochester teams are way down,
really?
down. Yeah. It's almost running time when you play them now, any team.
Duluth Marshall will have their hands full on Tuesday the 24th at Grand Rapids.
Right. They got to go up to the IRA Arena in Grand Rapids, and that'll be a tough game. But they want to get above Cloquet. That could be a big victory. Then they got Cloquet the following week. I thought it was going to be this week, but it's next week.
Well, let's look at these teams this way. They are 10-6-1.
Okay.
At Grand Rapids Tuesday.
That's a tough game.
And they host Andover Saturday.
They should win that game.
At Cloquet on Tuesday.
That's a tough one. That's going to go either way, and that can be the 4 and 5 seed who gets the home field advantage.
You're talking about Duluth Marshall's schedule at Roseville.
I think they can beat Roseville.
At St. Thomas Academy.
That's a tough game.
Sure.
Because St. Thomas is in the top 10. I haven't been given the private schools too much credit yet this year.
Okay.
But they're a good team.
And rounding out Duluth Marshall's schedule, they'll host Greenway on February 7th. Blake.
Got that one.
February 11th. And then they'll play at Hill Murray Wednesday, February 15th.
Wow, that's what a finish. Hill, some people have them number 2 in the state. I have them number 8
Okay.
because of their schedule, Hill Murray's schedule, but hey, yeah, that's a tough game at the end of the season, but that's a good game to have.
Duluth Denfeld started out the season 0-9 until they got their first win, 3-2 over Superior, and then they're now 2 and let's see, they lost to Marshall and Cloquet and International Falls. Did they win or lose that game?
I think they won that game.
Did they?
Big time.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they.
Next game for Denfeld is Hibbing on Tuesday.
That'll be a tough one.
Yeah.
For them.
And then look at this schedule for Denfeld. At Thief River Falls, at War Road, hosting Eveleth, and they end the season at Eveleth, at the North Shore, and at Grand Rapids. Rapids?
They can win, earn the Lake Superior
Yeah.
Conference. So they can win 5 of those. Possibility.
All right.
Man, I say they go 3-3.
Wow. Duluth East. What did they do at Brainerd?
They beat them 6-2.
And then at Rosal?
They stomped them 7-0.
Really?
Kind of a shocker because Roseau lost the first 3 games of the year, then they won 11, then they lost to St. Michael's. And then now East.
East is 10-5-1. Their next scheduled game is Tuesday at Prior Lake.
Tough game.
They'll host Forest Lake this Thursday.
They got that game.
They'll be at Anoka next Tuesday.
They should win that game.
Superior Thursday.
Should win that game.
At Elk River.
That's for number 1 seed.
That's Saturday.
That's going to be a big game.
February 4th. East at Elk River at Cloquet.
What time do you have on that schedule?
Elk River?
Yeah.
5 p.m.
They changed it to 3.
Okay.
Because Coach Randolph Omaha is up playing UMD that weekend. He wants to see his son go against Dom Toninato, 2 of his players, you know.
Nice.
Yeah, so
Well, it's
you can
nice
get back and watch that game.
That's great they can accommodate Mike Randolph. Again, Duluth East at Cloquet, Monday, February 6th.
That's going to be a tough game,
How
too.
about this one? At Bloomington Jefferson. What's the big one?
BJ is not doing good again this year.
What's Big One? That's the venue.
That's the big one rink. They have 3 rinks.
All right.
Bloomington Ice Gardens.
I see. Okay.
For big.
Yeah.
And then that's the one rink.
Okay. And then Saturday the 11th, East will host Maple Grove.
Good team, so it'll be a tough game.
And then they'll end the regular season at Lakeville South.
Another tough team.
Yeah, February 14th.
So they got about 4 tough games there.
My goodness. Well, what else on the high school?
Well, I mean, we just had the Hockey Day Minnesota down in Stillwater, and it went real well. I mean, at first they thought with a lot of rain and that, but it only rained, a light rain for the first half of the Class A game between Thief River Falls and Montemita. And because they had refrigeration under the ice, that it didn't really hurt it.
Now, was this a temporary rink? Or is this,
yeah,
okay.
I think they're going to, I don't know where it's going, the refrigeration unit.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's staying in some outside rink in Stillwater or what's going on with it.
What was that location they were at? Some type of
right
park?
Right on the river.
Okay.
Right on the river. So it's kind of like when they had it in Duluth, you know, it's right on the bay there.
Sure.
It was like, I say 75 feet from the river.
Yeah. It was a great game. Eden Prairie led by their superstar, Casey Middlestead, and he was a superstar.
Yep. That's why they got him as the 5th best North American hockey player going into the draft. That's amazing. That's the highest since Eric Johnson about 10 years ago. He was the number 1 pick in the draft for the National Hockey
Did
League.
Middlestead have an injury that sidelined him for a while?
Not this year.
Last year, though, I meant he did.
I can't remember that.
For some reason, I thought he had an injury that was kind of severe.
I
But
can't remember that.
okay, that's maybe I'm thinking of
it was
somebody else,
minor.
but-
No, it was minor.
Stillwater, they kind of hung in the game. They stayed with them.
I mean, it was a pretty even game, but Middlestead got a goal in that first period. Then Stillwater came back on a power play goal in the early part of the second, I think it was. And then we got, let's see, Johannes for Eden Prairie got a goal in the second. and that made it 2-1. And then the third period, Eden Prairie got 2 more goals. One was an empty netter by Middlestead, so it turned out to be 4-1. But really, the game was a lot closer, and the crowds were big. I mean, if you're on the sideline, you wouldn't be able to see their whole rink because it was so crowded.
Was there anything that came out of the weekend that you heard that?
No, I was walking around and just seeing. Usually, you see groups because they like to tour and see how the event's going and what they're doing.
Well, that was my question.
So I didn't see anything.
Who will host next year's
Right.
Hockey Day Minnesota?
Right.
And who has input into this? Obviously, Fox Sports
Fox
North.
Sports, because town has to. No, it's big money. A town has to put big money up to Fox.
Yeah.
To come in and do the game because it costs a lot of money.
Yeah, we can talk about the cities that have hockey well, all the cities in Minnesota have hockey programs, but the bigger cities that haven't hosted it, and I think Rochester's the first one that comes to mind.
Yeah, I'm thinking more Eveleth Hockey Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Because they never had it.
St. Cloud?
Yeah, St. Cloud with a big hockey community now with, they did have 3 schools, now it's 2.
Mankato?
Mankato, the only problem with down south is that I think they're going to have to go inside because the weather's just too warm.
Well, I think that they understand that, and Stillwater proved that it can be done with refrigerated ice.
Right.
The big thing there was it was cloudy. There was no sun all day.
Right. Plus, it was 35, and there was little wind off the river opening there, and it was cold air. Okay. It's like throwing on the air conditioner at the XL on top,
Yeah. How about Laverne?
Laverne.
Huh?
I don't think it's going to happen.
No, they played in the one at St. Paul 2 years ago.
That's right.
Well, we're still waiting then to hear who will host next year's Hockey Day Minnesota, but a great event here in the state of Minnesota. Of course, the Minnesota Wild schedule games, the Minnesota Gophers, and it's just a great weekend to celebrate our heritage, our hockey heritage.
Yeah, 2 things, though. The last couple of years, this year, the Gophers went over to Wisconsin. Why don't they have these games, everything in Minnesota? And the year before, the Wild were down in St. Louis for that night game.
Right.
And that's 2 things I don't understand. If it's Hockey Day Minnesota, you have it in Minnesota.
All the events, all the games.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. And, it comes down to scheduling, and apparently they couldn't make the Gophers
But
thing
I think
work.
somehow they should be able to change it.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, all right.
Yeah. Now, again, this weekend past was Hockey Day Minnesota, and if you recall, last year Duluth hosted it on February 5th. So there was quite a gap there in the
That's right.
date.
I think they had a problem last year where one of the communities they were going after couldn't get it done, and all of a sudden they went to Duluth late, and they had to hurry up and get this all figured out, and they did a hell of a job doing it that fast because they were real late in getting started.
Yeah.
They were short 6 months. What other communities know when they have it.
Jerry always puts together his rankings for both Class AA and Class A, Minnesota Hockey Connection, and you can find those rankings at the website, minnesotahockeyconnection.com. And Jerry, this week?
I'll go with Class A since Hermantown did a good job with a couple Class AA teams this weekend. So Hermantown, number 1 by far. They're playing real good. They're on a roll. And then number 2, I got Breck. Number 3, Delano. Number 4, St. Paul Academy. Number 5, East Grand Forks. Number 6, Montemita. And those first 6, one of those are going to win the state tournament.
Okay,
No one else.
I see not a surprise, but one.
But two of the teams will be kicked out because they're in the same section. Like
Right.
Delano and Breck are in the same section,
Right.
and St. Paul Academy and Montemita are in the same section.
Just go ahead and say it, Jerry. Hermantown.
Okay, Hermantown's going to win it. Okay, now number 7, Alexandria. 8, St. Cloud Cathedral. Number 9, Orono. Number 10, Minnehaha Academy. And teams to watch: Blake, Greenway, Hibbing, Minneapolis, Monticello, Northfield, Sartell, St. Stephen, St. Paul Johnson.
What's happened to Laverne?
Yeah, they're just not playing good.
Yeah. I'm still struck by this Alexandria. We haven't heard Alexandria
Right.
in the top 10.
They came to the state tournament about in the 90s. They had some good teams.
So
back in the
this
90s.
is their year where they've got a good crop.
Right. And
a
back
good
in the
group?
90s, they were Class AA.
Okay.
Yeah. And, over in Class AA, we got Eden Prairie, who won the Hockey Day Minnesota big matchup with Stillwater. And number 2 is Holy Family Catholic. They've been beating teams like 10-1, and they beat Grand Rapids a couple weeks ago. I mean, they're playing real good hockey. Elk River, number 3. Centennial, they're just playing, they're rolling. Number 4, Stillwater had a couple, Eden Prairie, good team, beat them. And then a week before that, White Bear beat them. So they're still a very, very good team. They're at number 5. Number 6, Edina lost a couple games. They were number 1 last week. See, it's going to change every week. These teams are playing each other. They're going to beat up on each other. Number 7, Lakeville North. Number 8, Hill Murray. Number 9, St. Thomas Academy. Number 10, Grand Rapids. A lot of people might think that I'm too low on Hill Murray and should be way up, but a lot of these other teams they haven't lost, so why would they go down? And that's the way I see it. And plus, I think Hill Murray's schedule is weaker than their conference schedule is very weak, and then their non-conference games are all right, but they don't have as many as they should. Okay, teams to watch: Bemidji, Blaine, Burnsville, Duluth East. Duluth East is playing very good right now. And Lakeville South, Maple Grove, Minnetonka. That's a team that can be a dark horse in Section 2 AA. But they got Eden Prairie, Holy Family, and Prior Lake in that section. Moorhead, Prior Lake, Roseau, St. Michael, Albertville, White Bear Lake, and Woodbury.
I want to come back to Duluth East. Has there been a big turnaround? Has there been a change maybe in the goaltending that's sharpened up?
Nope. What they've been doing is that they're splitting up the goaltender in every other game. So they got the sophomore Hansen and Meyerhoff, the senior, and they're just going every other game. It seems like so far the Meyerhoff is getting the bigger games.
Yeah.
So, but I tell you, I mean, a lot of people say their defense is not as good, but I did something on Facebook today to someone that asked that question. I told them, really, they got four shutouts, 6 one-goal games that they allowed. So that's 10 games with 1 goal or less. 1 2-goal game, 3 3-goal games where 2 of them were fluke goals, 1 in overtime and 1 right at 15 seconds left in the game. So probably could have been 2-goal games.
Okay.
Then they got 1 4-goal game with the empty netter where the goalie wasn't good that game. But really, one bad game I see this whole year against Tonka where they lost 6-0 and it could have been 10-0.
Yeah, and that was at home.
Yeah. So that's really the true one bad game I see. I mean, a goaltender had 1 bad game where they lost 4-2, but against a good team though, Centennial.
This is not the first time that a Mike Randolph coach team has started out slow, mediocre, and then turned things around towards the end of the season.
Well, what's going on this year too, you go back 10 years, Mike Randolph teams would be very defense-oriented where they don't allow many shots. He's allowing a lot more shots, but people don't understand. Most of these shots are coming from the perimeter. And so it's an easy pickup for the goalie. And they're going to make the saves. They can shoot outside on the perimeter all night long, So they're going to get 25 shots now or 30. Before it'd be 15 or under, but,
Meyerhoff is at home. Easy. Why don't you come in this net, Jer?
Oh,
easy.
I don't want to get bruised.
Okay, so high school hockey, we pretty much covered that. Any final thoughts?
Well, we only got 3 more weeks of high school regular season, and then the playoffs start, like in Section 7 AA on the 21st of February, so not far away.
Isn't that something? High school hockey started, last month, December. I guess late November for some,
right.
But And here we are talking about the towards the end of the season. Wow, isn't that something? The Minnesota Wild have been playing exceptionally well, and they're atop the Western Conference. And they had a game last night, Sunday, against Nashville. They had a 2-0 lead, but surrendered that and ended up losing 4-2. And I think goaltender Kemper kind of summed it up that, you know, they had a lot going on this weekend. They had a game Saturday night, and they just kind of ran out of gas.
Yep, Nashville's in town, and then laying around, resting up.
Yeah, Bruce Boudreau had a little different take, and he was questioned some of the non-calls by the referees. And got to tell you, I agree with the coach. There were several calls.
There's a few players. In particular. There's a few players, I'm not going to name them, that are going through a hard time right now. And plus, they got an injury to Brodeen. That's hurting.
Koivu?
Yeah, that's right. Koivu got sick. He
was
had the flu.
Right.
So he didn't play last night.
You know, what's up with this Brodeen, broken finger out for a month?
Yeah.
He's a hockey player.
I thought, they
only Joe Mauer sits out a month if he's got a broken finger.
There you go.
Not a hockey player.
Be tough.
So, Brodeen out for a month.
But this whole week, I mean, for over a week, the last 4 home games, seems like the Wild, they might start out good in the game, but they don't. The last period, they've been playing terrible. I don't know what it is, but they look tired, especially last night.
Yeah.
On that last half of the game. They just look so tired, gassed and that.
Yeah.
So maybe all these games now are catching up to them. So
I think they had 3 games over 5 days. If that's Thursday, Saturday,
Sunday, 3 out of 4 games.
You know, that game,
4 days.
They almost let that game with New Jersey. That was a big letdown. New Jersey's not a very good team.
Well, the Coyotes caught up to them because they were ahead 3-1, and then Coyotes, Arizona caught up 3-3, and they went and they beat them in 4-3.
And then the game Saturday against Anaheim, again, a game that they had to battle back.
And they scored 3 goals with 2 minutes.
Amazing.
2 minutes play.
Against a very good Anaheim team.
Right.
They beat them twice this year. And then Nashville Sunday night, disappointing loss, being up 2-0 and losing 4-2. And they'll play Dallas on Tuesday in Dallas.
Right.
And then they will host St. Louis the 26th, Thursday night. And that's an NBC Sports Network game. Mm-hmm. And then they'll take a break for the All-Star game in Los Angeles.
Yeah, the Kings are doing it.
And then the Wild will resume after the All-Star game. They'll open up Tuesday the 31st at Edmonton. And the following night, Wednesday, February 1st at Calgary. And then they will be in Vancouver on February 4th. That's a Saturday. And then they'll take 2 days off and play at Winnipeg on the 7th. And then the Wild will come home and they'll start Wednesday, February 8th, the first of, 8?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah. And they got Chicago Blackhawks, their big rivalry, twice in 2 weeks.
The week of February 12th, the Wild will play 4 games hosting Detroit, Anaheim, Dallas, and Nashville. You think you boys are tired now?
You better rest up in the All-Star break.
Yeah, so, boy, I'll tell you, things are really getting heated up. Boy, when was the last time the Wild had an 8-game homestand?
Wow, that is a long. I wonder why.
They'll play 8 of they'll play 8 of 12 games in February at home.
Well, I guess they have the Big Ten tournament and the state high school tournament, so they can't play in March for a long period. That's what's going on. So then they go on the road for a long time.
Yeah.
They got 5 games on the road straight.
Mm-hmm. Again, the Minnesota Wild playing real well behind the great goaltending of Devin Dubnyk, who leads the league in goals against and saves percentage. He's near the top in wins and shutouts. Arguably the team MVP to this point.
Right. He had a little letdown this last week, but we'll let him have a little letdown.
I like the play of Stewart.
Stewart's been playing real well.
Sure has.
He throws anyone that's not playing good on his line, and Stewart still.
Yeah.
He works hard, and If you need a little scuffle, he's the guy.
Mikkel Granlund is playing exceptionally
Right.
well. I got to
There's
tell
another
you,
player, yeah.
I've been harsh on Mikkel, especially last year. I wanted to see some more exuberance when he scored a goal. And I think maybe
I think those are the two best. Oh, Suter's playing real well, too.
Yeah, Zucker,
Yeah, Zucker.
Eric
I'll give you
Stahl, Spurgeon. I mean, you can look at everybody on this team, and they're all contributing. And they're all getting their fair share of playing time. Jason Schrader, I'd like to see him play more. I think he's a great playmaker.
that. Right. Well, he's got speed. They don't have the big bodies like some of these, like Anaheim came in and Nashville. They got some big bodies on these teams. Columbus, when they lost to Columbus, they're huge bodies.
It's going to all.
So you need speed.
Right. It's going to all come down to the playoffs, and if this team takes on Chicago, they're going to have to start getting goals from their captain, Mikko Koivu, Zach Parise.
Right.
Those are the guys that are going to have to step up come playoffs, because you can beat Chicago all day long during the regular season, but come the playoffs, you've really got to take care of business, and that's where they've been lacking.
And they need Koivu healthy because he's very good at faceoffs.
Wouldn't it be great to see Mikko Koivu hoist a Stanley Cup?
Oof. You'd be drinking out of that one.
We can dream, and the Wild got a good team. They've got a good balance of scoring punch and great goaltending.
Right.
You've got Bruce Boudreau, who has brought a little different attitude here,
And he's not afraid to make changes.
yeah,
He doesn't care who you are.
right. And I think the team respects him mightily.
Right. You're not playing good, you're playing on the lower line.
Yeah. So the Wild, again, we're very happy with their play as of late. The UNB Bulldogs, my goodness, Jerry.
Wow, what a weekend.
Wow, went up to Grand Forks and swept North Dakota. The first series sweep, four-game series sweep in the history of the UNB Bulldogs. And it was the first time a goalie had shut out a North Dakota team in Grand Forks since Chico Resch.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's going back.
I know.
I was at UMD when Chico played, so that's 100 years
I
ago.
was a little boy going with my grandpa.
Hate to go back 100 years.
Well, we've come to the end of the program, just a couple of minutes. But again, the UMD Bulldogs, huge wins up in North Dakota. Number one in the pairwise.
Right, number 2 on the coaches poll.
And they'll play the Minnesota Gophers this weekend. The
North Star College Cup.
Yep.
At the XL.
And those games, FSN?
Yeah.
Yeah. And with that, final thoughts?
Well, I think everything's going. I mean, college, pros, high school. It's hockey, hockey, hockey.
Yeah.
So this is a great time of the year. So you got to get out and see some hockey. Get to the rink.
Check us out online at mnhockeyconnection.com, minnesotahockeyconnection.com in a word search. Minnesota Hockey Connection is also on Facebook. Find us there and like us, please. YouTube, find us on our YouTube channel. We have all the content there of these the programs through the year, and some other content on there that we've posted as well. And we want to thank the staff at PACT-TV that produced this show. And Jer, we'll be back here next week to drop the puck.
Yep. See you at the rink.